And just as technicians have had to adapt to the job itself has changed. New technology, more systems, higher expectations from customers and fleets. And while tools have gotten more advanced, that doesn't always make the work easier. In a lot of ways, it's just made it more complex.
When I first started out, it wasn't much technology changing a lot in a few years. Now it seems like it changes every year. Scan tools, code readers, electronics used to diagnose problems. All the vehicles now seem to have some sort of new latest electronics. EV vehicles, the technology is always changing and the vehicles are always changing as well. And I think that the expectations sometimes are, oh, you got all the electronics and the technology. That should be simple to diagnose and fix. How come it's not fixed yet? Again, back to the original first question, when you have jobs that sometimes the technology and the scan tools and things like that won't help you diagnose it, or they may get you close, but there's still some things that have to take time into making sure that the job is correct, done correctly, performed right, and down the road.
How has the job changed over the last few years with the new technology, vehicles, and expectations? Well, you think about a truck today, there's over 5 computers on the truck, between the engine, transmission, the body controller, telematics controller, braking controller. And there's nearly, let's say, over 2,000 fault codes that can exist. So with the new technology, trying to keep up to date and understanding all the data that's communicating and how does the computer affect the engine, but then also the expectations. Customers today and the regulations that are happening because of the hours of service requirements, drivers have to get vehicles turned around quicker. Fleets don't have as many spare trucks anymore because the cost of trucks have gone up. So the expectations is get the truck out and running as soon as you can. And sometimes you have to spend a little bit more time. But what's most important is be safe, make sure you're fixing the truck right, and making sure that driver doesn't get broke down again. So it's sometimes challenging, that the environment and the stress you're in, but we got to always do what's right for the driver.
There has been so much that has changed over the last few years and upcoming as well. So there is a lot of new programs with manufacturers from Allison, Cummins, and International all have new programs for diagnostic software. And each of the big 4 have new engines coming out as well, which is so cool. We have engines with no EGR systems at all. We have 48-volt systems coming out and multiple dozer injectors for after treatment. So there's a lot of new systems coming out. They're all different, and the software is new. We get a lot to learn.
I feel the job has changed with all the technology changes with trucks and vehicles and all electronics in them, from electric steering to all this after treatment systems and telematics where you can, troubleshoot the truck as it's driving down the road. That's been lots of changes for the good, I think. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. Some of it's a little frustrating when you're trying to troubleshoot things, and, it can be frustrating.
Most repairs on power units require a diagnostic computer. Customers expect minimal downtime and often don't understand why parts aren't readily available or available the next day. When I started in this field in 2003, there weren't electric vehicles or autonomous vehicles.
You can pretty much diagnose most issues with the scan tools now. So with the OEM systems, the vehicles themselves didn't have the capabilities they do now to run tests and check certain things with the scan tools. And then I would say EV vehicles, you'll have to get a lot of new equipment. In my experience where I worked, we had to get a new lift, an in-ground lift, better hold the heavier vehicles, the EV vehicles, and new technology, especially with the EV vehicles, high voltage, a lot more dangerous than a regular, I would say, non-EV vehicle. And the equipment that comes with new vehicles and new technology too, And, no fault to the customer. They want their car to be perfect when they buy it. So that's their expectation, is their brand new car to stay that way. A lot of the times I've gotten complaints for noises or certain things. A lot of times how it drives, the shift patterns in the transmission. If the customer's kind of new to the brand or just to the vehicle in general, it's going to feel a little different for them, and to them it feels wrong, when in reality it's perfectly fine. Although noises of brand new vehicles, noises can sometimes pop up, and those are hard to figure out, where it's coming from, because it's brand new. It could come from anywhere. It could be, especially with the newer vehicles, with how everything's kind of modular almost. You can almost, take apart a dash just piece by piece, almost like Legos, so there's a lot of pieces, a lot of materials that make up the vehicle and driving it down the road. And then the downtime on parts, before, we could get usually parts within a couple of days, even transmissions. But now it seems like anymore, if you try to get a transmission, it's going to be weeks, maybe months. A lot of things can be on back order, especially with brand new cars. And then you got a brand new car that's down for months. Doesn't make anybody in that situation happy. No one wants to, especially the customer. And that's who you're trying to please, ultimately. So that's always difficult when there's really nothing you can do other than wait.